Everybody, welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to the layout. Today we are checking out a new item for the layout and a new item overall. This is the Lionel Legacy GP9 locomotive. They were from the Volume 1 catalog from 2024, delivered earlier in 2025, and I finally have one here on my layout. Now, this is a great little model. I did not pick this up new. I picked this up used. It was actually available on eBay for a great price and I couldn't turn it down. Now, these were on my watch list when they were cataloged back in 2024. I love the GP9 look. They did 3 Conrail versions. The black version that's patched that you see here, very similar to the GP40s, I believe, that they did not too long ago that I have. I've got a patched black unit from them, from that run as well. They did a blue version and then they did a super base like calf type of version, cabless version as well. The super base versions were $499.99. The regular versions were $599.99, and then obviously usually discounted when they came in, or if you pre-ordered them, you usually get a discount on that price. Now, that was also pre-tariffs as well, so those prices have all kind of increased as we are now here in July of 2025. But regardless, this is a great model. Now, this is not the first GP9 that I have in my collection. In fact, I have a blue GP9 that is from Third Rail. I picked up about 2 years ago. My buddy Tony had ordered it and then decided that he was going to part ways with it. And I had made a comment about how much I wish I would have ordered one when they were announced, and I wasn't paying attention to Third Rail much at the time. So he sold his to me. So we'll do a little side-by-side comparison of these two units today so you can see the Third Rail fine scale models from the Orient and then the Lionel Legacy version as well. Produced from 1954 through 1963, just over 4,000 of the GP9s were built by EMD. They were the GP, stands for General Purpose Locomotive. The GP9 succeeded the GP7, and the GP9's new 16-cylinder engine produced just over 1,700 horsepower. So 4,000 of these units were produced, pretty popular locomotives, and they ended up being replaced later on by the GP18s. Now, as I had mentioned, Lionel cataloged the GP9s like you see here, and then they did the GP9B, which is kind of like the cabless power unit, if they needed just a little bit more oomph on the for whatever train they were pulling. Now, this is a Lionel Legacy model, so we're looking at something that's going to have a die-cast frame and usually a die-cast fuel tank area, which is where the speaker housing is. The body itself is going to be plastic with some brass add-on detailing. Some of those add-on detail parts on this locomotive include the handrails, grab irons, and then we have some separately applied details on the roof as well. This is set up for a long hood forward operation. The engineer sitting in there is facing long hood forward, but you can obviously run these either direction. This model is full legacy control. It has a fan-driven smoke unit, and then it also has electric couplers on the front and rear, and it does have Bluetooth on board and an IR sensor to make that programming into your legacy base or your base 3 seamless if you have that IR track sensor in your track. Let's take a moment here and go side by side. So here, this blue version, this is going to be the Third Rail variation, which features TMCC, and then obviously the black version is the Lionel version. So some of the key differences that we have here is that the body on this one is still plastic. We still have separately applied grab irons, but we do have the fixed pilots, where the Lionel version does not have fixed pilots. So if we pick this up, you can see how the pilot moves with the truck, so it can navigate some tighter curves and operate on your smallest of layouts. This model does not have that. If we were to pick this up and move the wheel, you'll see that the pilot does not move, just the big lobster claw coupler out in front. So this could not navigate really tight layouts. And I think this still does have a pretty tight turning radius because it's just a naturally smaller locomotive. Now, I've obviously weathered my Third Rail version, so it's not going to be that pristine blue, but I did that because it's a Conrail unit and those pristine blue locomotives didn't last all that long. So overall, when we look side by side, we see the same detailing with the molded in detailing with regards to these vents. Here, these are all molded in. We've got some separately applied grading on the Lionel version there, similar to what we're going to see on the Third Rail version. Some see-through grates and see-through pieces on the roof line as well. Coming up to the top of the locomotive here, we've got some separate brake, looks like some different grab irons there. I'm not exactly sure what that is. If we come to the top of the roofline of the version here from third row, we've got 3 vents. The Lionel version, slightly different. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 vents there. We've got the smoke unit is here, and we're gonna go ahead and you can remove this to fill that up. Let's check that out. By removing the top hatch here, you can access the smoke unit, and you can kind of see here how the smoke unit is funneled. So it actually sits pretty close to the middle. So you'd fill it down the stacks themselves, and then it's going to slowly move into that funnel. So it's not the most efficient filling process, but by doing it with a funnel this way, it's probably going to create the most equal smoke distribution or exhaust distribution out of the 2 ports. If you had the hole for the smoke unit right underneath one of these, you're not going to get a lot of smoke out of the other. So while this is going to be a slower fill process, be careful not to overfill it, because it could overflow very easily. These locomotives. So the third row version was about $8.99 delivered versus something like this, which is going to be $5.99, a little bit less than that delivered. So while you don't get the fixed pilots with the Lionel version, it does come in at a cheaper price point and a better command system because it does have legacy on board, where this does only operate, it does have TMCC. You can also operate it with, you know, a conventional control if you wanted to. Here you can see that patch. So this would have been a Penn Central unit probably that would have been patched for Conrail. This is not the first time that Lionel's done this. They did this with their previous release in 2023. I believe it was the GP35s. Let's go check that out. I've got one on the wall. So here's the other black patch unit that I have. So this one, instead of it being patched, it's actually just the PC paint is kind of chipped and has fallen away. And then it's got that fresh Conrail logo there. If we come down here to the Reading version, this one was patched. You can see that black paint covering up the old Reading markings, and then CR painted on top. So we've seen a number of these patched units coming about in recent years from Lionel for Conrail, which is pretty neat. And so these ones, obviously, I have not weathered, and I haven't weathered that GP9. They might get some light weathering as well to start to begin to match some of my other Conrail engines that I have in my fleet. All right, that's gonna wrap this one up. If you picked up one of these locomotives, let me know what your thoughts are on it. This one is really, really nice. I was looking at the Pennsylvania versions as well. Obviously, I have not picked one of those up. The Pennsylvania versions do have the train phone antenna on the roofline, which is pretty cool. So maybe we'll grab one of those if there's some lingering around next year or so. But for right now, really happy with this new addition to my collection. Let's go ahead and run this around the layout, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.